I try not to get too angry or to judge people too harshly. I mean, I just deal with the reality and try and make change as best we can. You know, I've been around for a few years now, and you got to make something positive out of anger and put it in a progressive way. And for me, it just makes me want to fight harder. You know, I have to frankly say everybody makes their own decisions. They have their own business interests that they're pursuing. I'm not exactly clear what those business interests are. So, you know, that's their choice. There's obviously a lot of scrutiny in Germany around doping, and I think that's fair and valid. So I think every magazine, newspaper, television channel, and person needs to make their own decision on where they stand on these issues. Do you want to stay and fight? Do you really want to try and make a difference, or do you want to throw up your hands and walk away? That's a decision for everybody here to make on their own. My decision is to stay and fight. You know, my view is we push hard on all fronts. The support for the team internationally is quite strong. The interest in the sport is growing, I think, globally. I just hope that there can be a fair and balanced reporting of, you know, the good and the bad news in the sport. And there clearly is challenges in the sport. And I think that should be exposed and should be fully discussed.
Bob, what's your reaction to the German television saying they're going to
Well, as I just said, I think they make their own business decisions, and it's really, you know, up to each audience to make their own as well. You know, that's about all I can say.
Have you had a chance to talk to the Singlets yet?
No, that's a good question. Patrick he was under anesthesia and was going to be operated on in Hamburg for his facial injuries that were suffered in the crash on Sunday. We had no chance to talk to him today. We're hopeful to do that tonight, but he was just physically unable to talk to us earlier today. He has, you know, he's going to have surgery on his nose and also on his jaw, which was injured, so he's actually going to have his mouth kind of wired shut after later. So communication will not be easy, but that's a key goal of ours, to hear directly what his story is, which we haven't had the chance to do.
Bob, was it irritating to have that test take so long? I mean, obviously you wouldn't have had him on the tour team.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the test procedure was. As I maybe I said to the other audience, we heard about this from the media. It was confirmed that the results were announced to the media before Patrick was informed. So, I mean, that's not the best procedure either, but that's not my point. I think here we had no information. We really learned from the media as we were pulling into the parking lot that this had happened. So we really have no official word other than now an email that says there was a positive test result. So, you know, I'm not sure the communication was the best across the system, but I don't think that's a big focus for us right now.
What's the morale of the team as a result of this announcement?
Well, you know, I would have said up until today that all these challenges we face in this tour has made us stronger. I think this is extremely difficult for the athletes to bear. I think they believe their livelihoods are at stake. I believe that they think all the personal commitments they've made to this team have gone for naught. So I'm sure they're very deeply disappointed. We had only a brief time to talk before the departure. We'll have a team meeting about this tonight, and I really want to hear how they feel. I think it's important that we do that as a team.
What was the reaction? Were they just shocked?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course they're devastated. Absolutely. I mean, they put a lot into this. As I said earlier, we ask more than athletes are asked in most sports. They signed this code of conduct that says if we think you're screwing around, we can fire you. I mean, not too many people enter into employment agreements like that. They've subjected themselves to the blood volume test and a lot of tests, some of which are not pleasant. So, you know, I think they have my complete personal support for the work they've done, and I think they feel absolutely betrayed.
But how much does this bring into question the team's internal testing program?
Well, you know, it really doesn't. What we do internally is focused on blood. We focus on blood manipulation and changes in athlete blood. Those are tests that actually are not really done to a great extent by the testing agencies. We rely on the testing agencies to do the anti-doping tests. All of our athletes are registered in the German anti-doping agency's whereabouts. We separately maintain that information. So we work in cooperation with the anti-doping agencies. Our tests are intended to augment, not replace those tests. The theory of this is really important. The theory is that the anti-doping agencies are the ones who should do anti-doping tests. We do screening tests, we do tests that go beyond those, but it's not, in my opinion, not appropriate for teams to do anti-doping tests. And that was the original standard for WADA and the anti-doping agencies, that they alone would do those tests, because if you allow teams to do them, you run the risk of teams doping in their team to the level that falls just below the test. So we philosophically said, we're going to make sure the anti-doping agencies know where athletes are at. The sponsor funds anti-doping in Germany directly. We directly support it in the team. So we view our testing as complementary to that and not intended to replace that.